Welcome to Storybound, where we're diving into the world of Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Throne of Glass follows an enigmatic character who is banished to the mines after trying to assassinate the king. This sounds super familiar. It's definitely somewhat of a trope to some extent. As this book goes on, I found there's a ton of parallels to another character I'm fond of, Kelsier from the Mistborn series. Caelena is a super charismatic and capable character. She's funny, into fashion, brutal in combat, and feared across the realm. Early in the story, she's tossed into a competition, selected by the king's son to compete in a competition to become the right-hand killer for the king. An ironic fate for Caelena to take on, because after a few years of servitude to the man she tried to assassinate, she will be free. Although, I'm sure this will be complicated as we proceed through future books. So, this is a bit where I got worried. I don't hate Colosseum battles or Battle Royale and the lottery style stories. I do, however, find they can be incredibly lazy. I have some great news. This one is fantastic. It is core to the central story, but what takes precedent here is the characters. There are at least 6 or 7 characters we spend a ton of time with and start to learn more about their motives and what the underlying conflict is here. I really appreciate the character work and that it was the focus here, and it didn't rely heavily on the tournaments to carry the plot forward. Sarah J. Maas has a really fun writing style that felt part fantasy, part action movie, part rom-com, and I found it highly entertaining. This book is shrouded in mystery, and we slowly start to learn the tidbits and unraveling things at a slow pace, which leaves you with tons of questions and things to look forward to when you finish the book and future novels, and I highly appreciate this. As I look at a stack of 8 books behind me in this series, I want it to continue to take its time, and I'm glad I decided not to read the prequel for this when digging in, because I feel some of that mystery may have been divulged. Before digging into spoilers, if you're looking for a fantasy adventure with a decent amount of combat, magic, and demons, surrounding a disgraced assassin trying to find her place in love and life, this book might be for you and what you're looking for. I highly recommend checking out at least the first book, seeing if this one's right for you. I'm already digging into the second book, Crown of Midnight, because I'm not ready to leave this world. Spoilers. I was waiting for things to explode at the end of this book, and they did, however, not in a way I was expecting. Selene is in a much better place than I would have anticipated, even with the last-minute poisoning and her beatdown. She's regained her independence in exchange for servitude to the king. We get a bit of a love triangle here, but it seems she's leaning more towards Chaol instead of Dorian, who she does spend most of the time in the book being fairly intimate with, only to blow things off and kind of own her freedom at the end of the book. I'm super curious about her powers and the word mark that appears on her. We can probably make some assumptions that the king knows more about her than assumed, and probably even has some experience with her family. I'm also making the assumption that this is probably all tying back to why magic was banned in the first place, and why he's so cool with his former assassin being in his castle. This also reminds me of my biggest issue with the novel. Why are people so damn cool with her being in this castle? I know about half of the cast just isn't aware of who she is. Dorian is literally hooking up with somebody who went to jail for trying to kill his dad. Does he want his dad dead? That relationship has to be jarring, or maybe it's just the age these characters are, that they simply don't understand quite what happened, or maybe it's just the allure of this badass female assassin being there and knowing what she's capable of and who she is as a person that he's able to overlook what she went to jail for in the first place. Part of me wants Caelena to be playing the king on a long con to kill him regardless. This would basically put her in god tier status for me. It would be amazing if this entire thing was some type of setup to eventually go and assassinate the king anyways due to her original contract, because they did make a comment that she never backs down on her contracts. The slow nature of the reveals with her magic, the demons, and why Nehemia is actually at the keep all feels natural to me and benefited the story greatly. I do worry we're entering Chosen One territory here at some level with Celene's birthmark, or whatever it ends up being. What's more important is that Fleetfoot continues to get his belly rubs and lives for the next 7 books, assuming we don't get a time skip with an old pup. Either way, this book was fun, and I flew through it pretty quickly. I highly recommend checking it out, and recommending that you check out any books written by women all February, or any other time for that matter. Continue to use the hashtag FebruarySheWrote. Thanks again for watching, and as always, have a good one.